Hello. So today we're gonna do our typical monthly reflection, but we're gonna talk about me being in the Netherlands. Well, not the Netherlands, being back in America for 1 month after living in the Netherlands for a whole year. So when I'm recording this, the election did happen. I'm not gonna really talk about it, but as you could tell, I'm sure it happened. And there's people's reactions towards it, and some people are happy and some people are not happy. And at the end of the day, the Electoral College voted. So, and if you voted, you voted. Alright, so a lot of people ask me this question. It's, do I miss America? And I'm gonna be completely honest, I do. And what I miss about America is my friends and family. I still haven't been able to make my own community in the Netherlands yet, but because I was just busy absorbing the culture, learning the language, the Netherlands ideals, also on top of that, looking for another job. So it was a lot to handle, so maybe it was really nice to come back to America and just hang out with my community. I think every single week after arriving, I got time to hang out with my friends. And I can't deny that it was easy the comfort of knowing the language, English, but I appreciated living in the Netherlands. I was physically challenged to learn the language, and it's much more motivated to learn a different language, especially Dutch, because you were living in the Netherlands. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it takes some time. I definitely think because I went to Groningen and it's more a college city, like a college campus. So maybe if I lived in Amsterdam, my experience would be more different, because I did get to go to a networking event in Amsterdam. It was much more easier to connect to those people, and I'm no longer in school, so yeah. But I do have to say, when I went to the nightlife scene in Groningen, I was able to meet a lot of amazing people, despite them being in school or not in school, and I had so much fun with them. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Number two, one thing that I noticed in America is you need a car for everything. And I live in a city that has public transportation, but it is not as great as Groningen, where there's a bus, but everything's a lot more walkable, versus here, you really need a car for everything. Like, a certain place, to be in my own town, to go to another part of my town would be 15 to 20 minutes. Versus there, if I want to go to the club, it would be maximum 15 minutes to be at the nearest club in the city center in Groningen. Versus here, it's like a little bit far. And even an example, going to a neighboring state, New Hampshire, it was like 3 hours, and I needed to have a car to get there, and I don't have a car, so that's something to keep in mind. And if I, like, even in the South, that's not even, we're gonna not even talk about that. Like, you need a car to even go down the street in the South. So I'm very fortunate to be in a place that does have public transportation, but I can't deny that I miss living in a city where I could walk or even bike to do my groceries, to just bike around, or just to walk around the city and not feel like it's a hassle. Number three, something that I noticed coming back to America is tipping is back. It's back. It's huge. I think in Massachusetts, when we had our elections, we had a question of, should we increase the minimum wage for tipped employed careers, such as for servers and waiters? And a lot of restaurants were saying no, and a lot of people who work in tip also said no, because if we increase the minimum wage, the service might be bad. And there's some truth to that statement because in the Netherlands, the service is just not as exceptional or too much, but it's part of their culture to just give me the food. I'm not here to be your best friend or evoke such great communications. But I've noticed that tipping is back. When I was in New York City, tipping is around like 15% is like the bare minimum, but I've noticed a lot of restaurants now have the audacity to do 20, 25 to 30% when you're paying with your card. So I think that is a very high percentage. I think paying 30% of what you ate is ridiculous. 20% is okay, but I think 30% is crazy. And I have seen it at restaurants, period. That also goes the same for bars and clubs. Asking for 20%, asking for 30% when you just got a beer in a glass cup. Now, I wish the states adopt the Netherlands where just pay your workers a living wage, and then, you know, I don't know, like I don't know if the service will be affected if that happens, but I've noticed that the tipping culture has been very high, and every time you order something, you have to keep in mind that you have to pay a bonus 20%. And that's something I've noticed that my mind is picking that up again. It's like, oh, I see something that's $20, but it's actually really not $20. It's actually $24 at least because of tax and tips. Versus in the Netherlands, when they say something is a certain price, such as, let's say a stamppot is 12 euros. That 12 euros basically includes the tax in there as well. Another thing a lot of people might have asked me, do I miss the Netherlands? And I kind of do. And there's moments where I actually don't. Like, I don't miss the rainy days in the Netherlands. I do miss the ability to walk everywhere, cheap groceries, the nightlife lasting till 5 a.m. Yeah. And also the ability to go to a different country whenever I have time for a weekend, versus here I kind of have to plan it out, and most likely I would have to fly, versus there I could be like, oh, I just found a $25 ticket to go to Paris, or $25 to go to Belgium. So I do miss the Netherlands, I do miss it. I also am enjoying my time in America. There is some benefits of some comfort, but I can't deny that being challenged living in the Netherlands was very hard, but I felt that I grew a lot, versus here I feel stagnant because I'm in my hometown and I'm already surrounded by a lot of friends, which is really great, but I want to be able to make much more universal friends and friends from different experiences versus everyone just staying here. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. So it's been a month in America. I think I plan to stay in America for 2 months, so I guess I'll do another 2 months, second month in America, but as of now, it has been exactly a month in America, and this is just all how I'm feeling. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Bye everyone.